Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful green hills of Tennessee. Yes, the home of a lot of cool people. And a few weird ones. Speaking of that, the home of 22 Plinkster. Yeah, I paid him a visit yesterday. And, yep, he's crazy as ever. So many of you know him. And he doesn't live all that far from me. By the crow's flight, not that far, but by the twisty, windy roads and things, it's about an 8-hour drive. No, it's not that far. But anyway, another shooter. Tennessee has a lot of shooters, don't we? Always have. Always have. There's history here of people utilizing firearms, right? We could go into that sometime. Anyway, I just thought I should follow the tradition, you know. Even though I'm from Kentucky originally. Kentucky's known for a few shooters too, though, right? Yep. So good to be here, and it's pretty warm. It's not quite as hot as it has been. Coming up on, man, August the 10th. What a week, what a month, what a summer. Just flying on by. Many are already back in school. So, yeah, where does the time go? Where does it go? Got a couple of cool guns out here as usual, because Sunday shoot-arounds is an opportunity for the most part, well, really for all the part, to bring out something I want to shoot. It might be a new gun we're testing, I just, throw in two into the mix, but it's there's going to be that and something I just enjoy shooting and want to get out. And just inviting you along. It's what it is. If you're new to the Sunday shoot-arounds, it's people pop in and don't know what Sundays are about. They don't know what I'm about, period. Let's face it. I'm not sure what I'm about. I just have some fun, just like the rest of you. Try to muddle through life, right? What was I going to say? I don't know. I want to thank those people, though, that make all this muddling possible. Silencer Central is wonderful Banish suppressors. They do one thing and they do it really well. So check them out, as well as Davidson's Gallery of Guns. Yes, you get that guaranteed lifetime replacement on your purchases. Great folks. I'm going to be picking up one or two this afternoon at the local FFL. From them. Appreciate their help. And SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute, get some distance learning in a variety of subjects. Check them out. They do exactly what they say they do, and they're really, really good. I'm in a 45 mood today. Yeah, I wonder why. Hickok 45. Cobra Carry, you recognize that? I should have not told you, made it a quiz. The Cobra Carry. When's the last time I had that out? I'm ashamed to admit, I don't know when it was, but it's a cool little pistol. Yep, commander size, bobtail. Some of you have them. I got Dan Wesson grips on. These came on my Guardian, and I need to get some, I don't know, some VZ grips or something for this. But yeah, I changed them out on the Guardian. I put them on this because it's bobtail as well. This has always been a great little pistol. Told you the story on it, how I got a really good deal on it, and everything over at Guns and Leather and Greenbrier, because it was used and someone had traded it in. They kept malfunctioning on them and all that kind of thing. I couldn't get it to malfunction, and so I bought it. But years ago, prior to my YouTube adventures, yeah, it's been a while. So, yeah, Cobra Carry 45 ACP, and like I say, in a 45 frame of mind today. I think I told you last week, I almost got this out, my FN. Yeah, 545. Very nice as well. So gonna sling some 45 big 230 grain 45 slugs today. A little bit of a variety. Got some Underwood, some others. I'm not even sure what they are, but yeah, I'm gonna shoot that stuff. Looking forward to it. And I want to thank Alabama Holster for their support of the channel. Got 2 of them on me, and always do, really. Phone holster at least, and then Firearms usually. And so great company, little Kydex concealment holsters. They're in Alabama. Yeah, that's probably a news flash for some of you. Alabama Holster being in Alabama, down in the southern part of Alabama. They don't have a retail store or anything, I don't believe. What's the name of that? I think it's not too far out of Mobile. I've not been there, not been to it. If we ever get down that way, maybe stop by. But anyway, I love the holsters, and I appreciate you supporting them. And tell them the big dummy on YouTube sent you. What else? All kinds of things. Oh yeah, let me shoot this again while I got it. I haven't fired. Those were the first shots I have taken through that thing in forever. So I'm so clueless. I had no idea who Sydney Sweeney was. I'll bet you some of you old fogies like me are in the same boat, right? Wild trying to keep up with popular culture when you get, I don't know, past 30, past 40, past 50, of course. So I'm so far away from popular culture, it's like a different planet almost. When I was teaching, I kept up with it a little bit better just from sheer, losing the word, but proximity to it. There we go, proximity, because all these young people I was around all the time, I would hear about it, that kind of thing. Bands or whatever that I wasn't familiar with and didn't care about, maybe even after I heard about it, but at least I knew about more of that. And of course, with social media and everything flying up on your videos, you do get some exposure to things that you didn't call for. They just get suggested, unlike gun videos that don't get suggested, right? But yeah, I had never heard of her, but now I'm looking at, not to get, there's nothing political about the ad, absolutely, unless someone is brain dead, right? That would be the qualification for thinking that was political. That's my opinion, of course. But so now I'm thinking about going from Duluth. I'm kind of a Duluth guy. I just, their clothes, they have what I want in pockets and size and all that kind of thing. But nope, throw them all away going to American Eagle. Just kidding. Anyway, yeah, pop culture is an interesting thing. It really is. And what does that mean, pop culture? I guess it means popular culture. Whatever is the most popular. But then again, that's a little bit of a misnomer, right? It means really it's popular with young people, I guess, trendy folks, more so, I mean, this is a part of pop culture for me and many of you. Big old 45 1911. That's my pop culture. Let's pop something on too. All right. This thing has a nice trigger. Woo! This is the Ed Brown Kobra Carry again. Yeah, bullseye. Cowboy, you need a hit. Yeah, Clyde needs another one. Let's try the dog again. Yeah, you got a good trigger when you haven't fired something in, I don't know, 2 years. I don't know when the last time I had it out. And you can just hit whatever you want. And it is because it's got decent sights and it has a wonderful trigger. Perfect, not too light. Definitely light, but not too light. And nice break and all of that. That's the advantage of a 1911. You can get a really nice trigger out of these things. And of course you got a thumb safety, which you really need, on 1911. Of course, you got the grip safety, but because they have a light trigger, they're designed to just once you're ready to fire, you got that safety off, then you've got a beautiful trigger. And so it's a matter of when you take the safety off, it becomes the safety issue, right? And they tend not to fire on their own. That's always nice, right? So maybe all these guns are going to have a little bit of a rebirth. I don't know, but that is a sweet one. This was one of the first pistols, well, not first, but back whenever that was, 2008 or something, I don't know, when we were doing those, we just haven't done one for a while, the 230-yard shoots at the gong with handguns. Maybe when you get back and do another one of those. But I did it with this one, and I don't know how many hits out of the magazine I hit, but you know, just that little commander size thing, and whatever I did, however many I hit, it was really because of that trigger. And of course, figuring out the sights and how far up the hole, you got to do all that when you're shooting that far away with a big old fat bullet, 230 grain bullet, right? But it's the trigger makes all the difference in precision shooting. Yeah. So pretty nice. Appreciate y'all going to the other channels, the Talks channel and the Clips channel. He's got 45 clips that John and Jesse are doing, and the Sheets channel. I mean, they're in charge of that. Again, they pick all that stuff out and title it and put it out. And so it's interesting to see some of that old stuff come back that a lot of people have never seen, and I forget about, and see it pop up. Speaking of Talks, you know, it was interesting to see some of the comments on recent talks I made live, or did on why I ain't like you, right? And just a little bit about my upbringing, my weird life and all that. And so many people, you know, chimed in with, you know, similar experiences, and some I hadn't thought about, things that I had done too, you know, sledding and all that kind of stuff on a car hood or whatever, garbage can lid, and just we could list them all day, things that we did that not very many kids do these days. And again, we sound like old fogies, you know, talked about all that, and I'm sure a lot of younger people get tired of hearing about it, about drinking out of the hose and all that stuff. But I think it comes up so often, and we do talk about it occasionally, is because, well, at the time we didn't think anything about it, or even when we were 20 or 30 or 35 or 40 maybe, we didn't, well, any big deal. But as society has gotten so strange, things have changed so much. So many people living indoors and in a virtual world and all that. All those things we did as kids back in the 50s and 60s, they're bizarro. You know, I mean, they're like some other planetary experience, really. Yet it was just the normal day to day. So anyway, the further we get away from it, the more interesting it becomes to me, and the more grateful, pleased I am that I had that experience. You know, I mean, it's a little, whatever, selfish, pat myself on the back or whatever, egotistical, I don't know, but I just really am glad I had that childhood and really much of my adulthood too, but I'm just really glad I had that real non-virtual life, so much of it. We probably watched too much TV at times, but I just, I don't know if it made me any better than anybody else, smarter than anybody else, but at least it was a real world. You know, it was a real experience, and you know, we were knocking around, and you know, you get bullied, and you saw, I mean, you know, there's nobody to protect you, no helicopter parents, and you know, didn't care what you were doing, or they care, but you know, it's just the way it was. You know, come in when it gets dark, maybe, you know, and that kind of thing. So different world, and it's interesting to see so many of you. You know, your life was just so much, you know, like mine. All of our lives in the 50s and 60s were very, very similar. Even if you lived in a neighborhood rather than the country, I lived in both at different times. You know, you're outside doing stuff, whether you're on the farm or in the subdivision, basically, right? as I answered somebody, some of the big difference was technology, of course. Once we started getting air conditioning, central heat and air, that brought kids into the house more, right? And once TV got better TVs plus color TVs plus cable TV, more channels, that brought people into the house, out of the yard more, out of the woods, off the street, into the house more. And then what, gaming, computers, of course, microcomputers and games, computer games and all that. That brought another big chunk of people from the outdoors into the house and, all that kind of thing. And, of course, phones and everything. So it's been kind of a gradual process over, say starting in like the 60s, 70s, and to where we are now, where it's a little bit like a drug, isn't it? People don't miss it. That's the thing. They don't even realize and don't care to go outside. Maybe man, I've got all my technology, my computer, and my games. I don't even want to go out. What's the big deal about going out riding bikes? It's just not as interesting to people. And so that's the thing. It's so much fun to be hooked into that virtual world. It's so convenient. There's so much there you can do that, this is the reason people escape the outdoors, right? All right. I haven't totally escaped the outdoors because it's the best place to shoot things like this. All right, this is the FN 545 for people who don't know. I've had it, couple, 3 years. This is a pistol I rely on. This is a pistol that enables me to sleep better. Okay? Now it better function. That's one reason I want to bring it out. I've yet to have a malfunction with it. I had one with its counterpart, the 10 millimeter, if you remember. It was with the extended mag, whichever. Do I have a more extended? Yeah, it was a 10 millimeter. I don't know, I don't remember whether it was really hot ammo. It sometimes requires more of a magazine spring or what it was. But I mean, it's just been one. Still, don't forget it, do you? I've not had one yet with this. Probably will today. All right. Feels good, really does. I can pop the gong with it. Yeah, man, feels good. Good sights. Can't miss with that. Yeah, I'm still happy with my choice for a nightstand protector. I really am. Now you got the people out there, obviously, old dumb guys like me, that they just don't think there's anything but a 1911 or steel and wood and that kind of thing, and they would not want anything to do with this polymer pistol, right? Well, I'm here to tell you though, that thing feels actually better in my hand than this gun. They both feel great beaver tail, but because of the size of my hand, this one feels even better. And of course I got the Talon grips on it, and that I mean, it just fits like a glove. And it's been utterly reliable so far. It's just a nice pistol. The sights are great. Yeah. I have been keeping it a secret. I'm a undercover FN rep. I like that though. I'm happy with that. It's nice to be happy with a purchase, isn't it? I don't know, where did I see that? I think I saw them at the SHOT Show NRA meeting one year. Picked them up. Yeah, I like that, And I got this one first, or maybe we even borrowed one for a video. I don't know, but then I bought one, and yeah, I like it a lot. This is one of my favorite pistols, the FN 545. Yep, it is. Yep. I started to say I hate to say it. Why would I say that? I don't hate to say it. One of the nice things, again, about being totally independent of gun companies is you can bash them if you need to, But you can also compliment them when there's a great gun, you know, one that you really like. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, can I shoot that again? Now after all that bragging, it's going to malfunction. Here's one of these extended mags, so we'll see. Okay, I'll take a couple shots with this. 230 grain ball ammo. Let's see if it's as accurate with this long magazine. Let's reach out, see if the magazine affects long range accuracy at the gong. That's good to know. How about you, piggy? Yeah, you got to watch it. Sometimes magazines are, some magazines are less accurate than others, depending on the color of the magazine, all that. Is that true? Is that true, or am I making that up? If you're not sure whether I'm making that up, you're really, really new to firearms. And that's okay. Welcome to the channel. You know, you're welcome to. You're welcome to be abused by my sense of humor. I see it periodically in videos where I'll say something and you know, just people fall for it. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun of you. I mean, I usually think they're obvious jokes, but they're not always obvious. And I don't want to make fun of people. If I make an obvious crack about a firearm, some little technical side that anybody that knows firearms would know that's a joke. Sometimes there are people who don't know anything about firearms, and we don't want to bash people that are new to firearms. We want more of you, so don't mean to make fun of you. But then there are some things that I don't want to say. I discovered this when I was teaching all those years, because you can probably imagine I did the same thing to my students. I tested their gullibility pretty often, and I noticed that there were some students that really serious and take things literally and would not get my humor. Not many, almost everybody would get it, you know, and just thought I was dumb. But there'd be some that just wouldn't get it, you know, wasn't sure whether I was serious or whatever. And I came to learn just through experience, years and years and years, that it was partly based on their upbringing, their childhood, if they had brothers and sisters, or if their parents joked with them or kidded with them, you know, it became pretty clear that was the difference. I remember a couple of different times, you know, when I would, you know, say something goofy, you know, and like that about the magazine or something, non-gun jokes, of course, and they'd be, I remember a couple of different girls, especially 7th graders, that, oh, Mr. So-and-so, he expects us to follow, you're like my dad, or whatever, you know, he expects me to believe that stuff. And that was part of it. If they had parents, mom or dad, that kidded with them, they were used to it, you know, and so their antenna were, you know, always turned on, and, you know, they knew adults, especially older adults, are going to use their dad jokes or the grandpa jokes and you know, mess with them and that kind of thing. And so they were kind of ready for it. But there were some, you know, maybe they were, I don't know, an only child, didn't have brothers or sisters or uncles that picked on them, teased them. And maybe their parents were not of that type, sense of humor or whatever. So they just weren't used to it and thought I was from another planet. Wonder why. Okay, let me shoot something. Let's shoot this 1911 again. Anything else you want to know about? I ought to have some advice for young people. I don't know if I do or not. Boy, speaking of that, though, I printed this out. I'm going to save this. You see where Australia banned machetes, at least parts of it. Australia's state of Victoria on Thursday announced that more than 50 or 40 machete disposal bins will be available at police stations across the state to allow citizens to safely get rid of the weapons without a penalty before September the 1st. Get rid of those weapons. The government is running a machete amnesty period from September 1st to November 30th to support the safe disposal of machetes. Those who do not surrender their machetes during the amnesty period may face imprisonment of up to 2 years or a fine of more than $47,000, etc., etc. These knives destroy lives, so we're taking them off the streets. Victoria, Premier, St. Allen, Sadness, whatever. Whew. These folks that pop in every now and then say, like it's a joke. Nobody's coming for your guns. Nobody's coming for your guns. Are you just totally oblivious to the world? The politicians are always coming for our guns. I mean, how many little clips would I have to show you from the news in the last 4, 5, 6 years? Just politicians, I mean, over and over, wanting to come for various types of guns. After they get those, they'll be coming for the knives. Just look around the world, the way it is. So I guess you need to stock up on machetes and get ready for this problem before they're banned. I've got a couple, I guess. They would hate me down there. Man, how would I trim my trails? I always am carrying a machete or something like that, as you know. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. It's bizarre, isn't it? Isn't it just bizarre? So anyway, yeah, let me shoot this thing again. We got a magazine loaded. All right. This is the Ed Brown. Ed Brown passed away, a year or two ago, like that. All right. The thing about these I always liked, I had the other one, I had a full-size Ed Brown, what was that called, Special Forces, and I sold or traded that to John. But they're just a good example of, in a 1911, and there's other companies like that, like Dan Wesson and whatever, but any of them, you can get all kinds of configurations. But what I liked about the Ed Brown was, of course, he had a great not a good reputation personality-wise, but a great reputation for what he made. And they're a good example of everything you need and nothing you don't, that sort of thing. That great beaver tail, great trigger, tool steel, no rails and that kind of stuff. Just a nice pistol. All right, am I hot? No. Okay, get those ears in. I forgot, speaking of Alabama holster, I got a nice Alabama holster for that and my Guardian. I should have put that on today. Yeah, man, that is a nice pistol. It's heavier than my Guardian. If I'm going to carry a 1911, it's going to be my Guardian, because it's this pistol, but a lot lighter. It's got the alloy frame, and that's why I got it, because I liked this pistol so much. I wanted this pistol in a lighter version, and that's kind of what I got with the Guardian, Dan Wesson. So, I mean, I've been tempted to sell or trade this one, but I don't know. It's just such a nice pistol. Yeah, had to be. All right, so let's shoot this other firearm. And young people, I've got advice: get old fast. I don't know. I would caution people against spending too much time. What do they call it? Doom scrolling or something. That's just scrolling, wasting hours, right, doing that. Because they might get caught up in that. When I think of that, I tell you, there's an element online and shorts and different videos, or long form videos too, but because I bounce around a lot of different topics, so I'm liable to get anything suggested almost, dealt to me, except the gun stuff I want to see from people I should be subscribed to. But there's a lot of videos of people speaking of doom, gloom and doom, and there's some reason for it. There are a lot of people in financial straits and just not feeling good about the world and all that. I understand, that. But man, there are a lot of people making videos like every day trying to figure out a different way to talk about how horrible things are, you know. And, you know, it helps bring in revenue, you know, ironically. It makes the world a little better for them by talking about how bad the world is. So I understand all that. We all understand that. But don't get caught up, that'd be my advice, in too much of the negativity that's out there in video format. You know, and a lot of it does relate to, you know, the financial world and employment and all that kind of thing, and the lack of affordable housing, and, you know, and again, there's a lot of truth to it. But then anything that's exaggerated, man, it can really bring you down. And by exaggeration, I mean just by the volume, you know, of it. And there's common phrases that you see people say. They told us just to work hard and keep your nose to the grindstone, and you'd get to the American dream. Or, you know, we were told that the American dream was just out there and just go out there and work hard and you would achieve it, all kind of thing. Well, yeah, I hear and see that a lot. I don't know who told you that. You know, no one told me that. Yeah, I mean, you might infer that you might be able to buy a house someday if you get the right career, you get the right job, you get the right promotions, and if they're not there, you change or you get more education or whatever it requires. There's always going to be a subset or a percentage of the population that aren't going to be able to afford a house. Always have been. You know, I couldn't afford one until I got to a certain point in the 1970s. You know, and you know, that's just life. And you know, I don't know. We just didn't sit around and commiserate all the time about how we were told I could buy a house by a certain time period. Well, it's kind of up to me what my career choices are and all. And again, that's why we old folks are always trying to throw out advice, you know, about diet or finance or any of that kind of thing, because we have learned those lessons. And we've learned the lessons because we can look back into our lives when we were in our 20s or teens or 20s or 30s and see it in real numbers very clearly in living color what we could have done to make things better. You know, wow, you know, as I've talked about, you know, just pulling off 10% of anything you make and living below your means and saving, you know, for a period of years, and, you know, using the compounding interest and everything. Oh my gosh, it would just solve so many issues. Because again, we use all the closet space we have, we tend to use all the money we have, we tend to use all the time we have. It's really hard to save, and everybody knows that. It's really hard to eat less than we should, and all those kinds of things. Just look around. We all are just bundles of poor self-discipline for the most part. Really, for the most part. There are exceptions, but we have to admit, we are 90% of us, 95% of us, we have poor self-discipline on a scale, right? We just do. You know, go to the mall and look at people. We have poor self-discipline. You don't have to be an expert in nutrition to know why so many of us we got more weight on us than we need. Okay, or we should. Unhealthy, man. Same diet and finance. It's a similar topic. Self-control is a lot of it, right? I've been there and am there. We're all there to some extent. But anyway, I don't know what I lost my point almost. But anyway, don't get caught up too much into doom scrolling. Try to do something about it. Do something about it. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us, you or me. If I make a bad decision, buy something, make a bad investment, go broke, nobody's coming to save me. All that's my choice. If I don't save money, if I don't do what I need to be doing, same with my health, you know. I can start chain smoking cigarettes tomorrow. You know, it's free country. Not a good choice. I can start spending way more than I make tomorrow. Not a good choice. I can do it. I can live in it if I'm 25 or 30. I can live in a better apartment than I can really afford, you know. I can live in a city where I just want to live, but it's really above my means. I really can't afford to live here. Or maybe I need to move out of town and get a place that rents for half the amount or 75% of the amount. It's not as desirable. I won't be close to my Whole Foods or my friends or whatever, but it's more affordable. Yeah, I mean, we just have to make choices. That's part of it. But again, the economy is a more difficult, place these days. All the more reason to try to fight it rather than just complain. Do both. Complain, make videos, but then, work on that is my advice. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Let me shoot some more. All right. Nobody wants to hear from boomers, I know. Do I have more ammo? Yeah, I've got some more in that magazine. Yeah, I like this. I need to shoot it more. I need to get the 10 out maybe next week and fire a considerable number of rounds through it where I feel better about it. Although for defense, that's not as likely to carry it unless I'm in the woods, okay? Bear defense, and that's not a good time to have a malfunction either, is it? All right, I don't know how many rounds I have left, but I will know. Well, this thing is a nice shooter. Yeah, that's a keeper, isn't it? I haven't fired it in a good while, and looks like I don't have to. I'm so good, right? Well, no, that is a feeling you get when you bring out something you haven't fired in a while. You can't miss with it. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, you just need to do that every now and then. And we do. We do. If it's a firearm you're relying on, my garbage guy, trash man, you do want to fire it. And of course you want to fire ammo that you're going to be carrying in it, if it's a carry gun, right? Or a defensive pistol. Quite often, in fact, I ought to do that. I don't know. Let me fire just a couple of these. Oh, that's a round. That's a mag I keep in it. But let's do that. Yeah, just practice what we preach, and make sure that ammo cycles and everything. And I have, fired hollow points, of course, many times. Yeah. So, and this, somebody's calling me. Yeah. I get a lot of dumb calls. By the way, I don't answer the phone. We have people get my number, my home number, if a few cell number, I just don't answer it, But can't do it. Boom. If the person's not in my phone, I don't answer it. Now, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, this is another. I think I said that about the 1911. This one has not yet fired on its own either, uncommanded, right? So you never know. By the way, the video I did, the talk I'm not going to talk about that all that much. I just thought I should weigh in a little bit since y'all were curious as to what I think for some reason. But on the P320, although I'm following it, and I've been seeing more and more and more stuff about it that is not good. I was going to say, I kind of wish I had said in that video I did on it that now I'd be comfortable probably carrying these guns, and they're probably not going to cause me any trouble, and they're probably totally safe and all that. But I've got other guns I don't need to, and that kind of thing, and kind of qualify it a little bit more maybe. I really don't totally distrust them. It's just kind of like this is work, so why do I need to, that kind of thing. And that's kind of the point I wanted to make. They probably wouldn't cause me any trouble, but it's just that same old deal that I'm not looking to bash SIG, but they do need to address it maybe better and get working. They probably are working overtime, I would guess, on a fix. They probably don't want anybody to know it. And they're probably they should be working on a couple of things. I would say, if I were the CEO's advisors, a fix that's 100% for sure, and then also working on a way to convince people legitimately that that it is 100% fix, you know. And I don't know how they do that, but that I hope they're working on that. Because there's so many of them out there. There'd be a lot of guns just out there that people consider untrustworthy if somebody doesn't come up with a good fix. Yeah, the more I see on it, I don't know. It may just require a kind of a total guts replacement, you know. But even so, even at whatever that cost, I mean, I wouldn't think I should have to pay for it, but even if I had to pay $50 or $100 or something to get my gun back and it was 100% good to go, no problem ever, I'd probably be willing to do that because it's not worth as much now. But it really is snowballing and steamrolling, and I don't want to be a part of that. I just, you know, we shooters, you and me, we just can't help it reach those conclusions that we don't really have to trust it if there's any question, and so we'll just not, and we'll wait and see how, you know, it works itself out. So anyway, I don't know. It's a tough situation. Whew. Really tough. So much money in one firearm, and so many of them out there. And yeah, again, from a personal standpoint, I don't really miss. When I realized that the X10 is a part of that, it's a P320. Then I was a little more bothered really than with my P320. That military commemorative is just I always like to have whatever the pistol is the military is using and has used. I kind of got all those in my collection, and so I'm going to have that anyway, and don't need to shoot it. I actually, a lot of the other polymer pistols feel better to me a little bit. The X10 was kind of a cool giant 10 millimeter, but you know, one thing that kind of got me, I turned the corner a little bit on the P320, and it was a bit of a surprise to me. I don't remember what video it was, but it was right here on this table over here on the Gun Club range. I had 3 or 4 pistols, and I don't even remember what the video was about, what the point was. Probably like most videos we do, pointless. But I was doing the old firing. I had them all hot, I think 3 of them, and I was firing this one, and the Glock, probably it was a Glock, and I don't know what else. And I was shooting them in sequence like that, and trying to decide for some reason which one I shot better or faster or something. I don't know. And I guess I had, I don't know, maybe the Glock 17, maybe an FN. I don't remember what it was. But I remember doing a little of it before the video, and then in the video doing it, and realizing, because I'd always had the impression that P36 or 320 was just fit so well and was a really good shooter and everything, but I wasn't able to hit quite as well, and it didn't feel as good. The bore axis is up a little higher. And I was genuinely a little enlightened and surprised. That gun doesn't feel as good as the others do to me. Legitimately, not because I'm a Glock fanboy or any kind of thing like that. I was really evaluating them, just picking them up and shooting them, which is, and I kind of turned the corner a little bit that day, realizing that, or days before, or whatever, that P320 is a nice gun, but I shoot these others a little better, and they feel a little bit better, or the recoil impulse, and I think that maybe was part of it. I was trying to test recoil impulse or something, and and so I turned the corner a little bit on that gun, in terms of it being just one of my very, very favorites. I think that might be when I went back to like the Glock 17 or something as a bedside gun before I went to this. And I just went to this because you can tell I love it and shoot it okay. But if I have to grab something in the night, I like a bigger, slower bullet that's not quite as ear splitting, you know, and all that kind of thing. So anyway, for whatever that's worth. But there's a lot of good pistols out there, and we have a lot of great choices. We're very fortunate in today's world to have so many great choices. There's no doubt about that. And you know, I'm going to make a choice right now. I'm going to shoot this thing just a little more since I got it dirty. Can I do that? The FN? And yeah, well, I got it dirty. Doesn't hurt to fire it just a little bit more. Then I'll let you all get out of here, okay? So I hope you get a chance to do some shooting. And not, like I always say, get out a gun and clean it, you know. You know, really, especially if I had to travel like I used to get to a range to shoot, you know, maybe you just can't get to a range or whatever. You know, if you've got a firearm that you haven't cleaned in a long time, maybe it's pretty valuable and you have cleaned it, but you haven't really gone over it in detail for a while, or you haven't laid hands on it for a long time or something, and maybe it's pretty expensive, or it's collectible, or maybe it's not. You know, I actually enjoy getting out a firearm like that sometimes, you know, and just, it's usually with something that's pretty, I don't know, collectible at some level. One of my Colt single actions or something that in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we did a video with that and I cleaned it, but did I really do a great job on it? You know, let me get that thing out. You know, maybe it's like my cavalry model made in 1883 or something like that. And I'll bring it out on the shooting table and just really, really go through it. Just clean it like I haven't and all that kind of thing. And that's a very satisfying activity, right? If you are truly a shooting enthusiast, that is fairly satisfying. Maybe not as satisfying as this, but it's pretty. Let's shoot Alabama holster and Talon grips. Since we got Talon grips on this thing. Yeah, great grips. They make this thing. Ballistol, it's got Ballistol. How about SDI? Gallery, good. Central. Now we've got one left maybe for the gong. Yeah, can't quit on a miss. Right, Clyde? Oh man, I knew that was to the left. At least I'm pretty sure it was. I'm so confident I'm gonna put one bullet in. All right, Clyde, don't dodge it now. Stand still. There we go. He cooperated. All right, so a couple of nice 45s. You don't have to carry a 45 to enjoy shooting a 45 ACP. It's not necessarily a FUD cartridge. It's like I have said many times, you don't have to carry a revolver to love a revolver. You don't have to carry a lever gun or a single action to love them and enjoy them, right? In fact, a lot of the carry guns I rely on are some of my most boring guns, maybe. You know, maybe some simple revolver, or what's more boring in a lot of ways than a Glock 19 or something like that. Glock 43, you know, they all look alike. There's a million of them out there. There's nothing all that special about the firearms, except that they work really well. You know, and it's other firearms that we maybe even take more pride in. They're just really nice pistols, fun to shoot, competition pistols, collectible pistols, antiques, or just whatever. So they don't have to serve an essential purpose. although a firearm that you need for when you go to the range to enjoy shooting is kind of an essential purpose, right? Isn't that essential? Yeah. So anyway, I've yacked too much. Maybe I've even shot too much. And hope you're having a good summer as you wrap it up. And you're getting the kids back in school, getting them out of your hair. Or maybe you're a kid back in school and you're out of your parents' hair, right? I hear from so many people these days that tell me how they started watching, you know, when they were like 12 or 10 or 15. Now they're 30, 35, got a family, you know, and they're, you know, still watching and buying guns, collecting guns and shooting. It's weird that I've grown up with so many of you. Yeah, I grew way up, didn't I? So actually, I have not grown up. You have grown up. If you were 13, you know, now you're 30 or something, 35. You have actually grown up probably and maybe even matured. Whereas I never did really mature. I did grow up, you know, to get to 6'8", but I never really did mature. So I've not matured one bit, you know, during that time period between when you were 13 and now you're 30 or something. Yeah, as you can tell, right? Look at any video. I ain't no smarter and I ain't no more mature, and kind of proud of it, really. Yeah. So I'll see y'all next week. Life is good.